In my recent trip to Belgium, I took the Eurostar instead of flying, and as a luxury traveler, I chose the Premier class this time, as I wanted to see how the highest notch service is like. Mind you, at £279 round trip, you could actually pay for a domestic economy flight, and who knows, maybe a business class for non-peak season. So what's the difference between Premier and standard fare, which can cost as little as £50? First, there's the check-in time. With Premier, you only need to arrive at the station 45 minutes before departure. For regular seats, that would be 75 minutes instead. Regardless, it's way better than having to arrive at the airport at least 2 hours in advance. Next, similar to flying business class, Premier passengers with a lounge access, and that's why I ended up arriving early anyway, so I could show my viewers what it's like inside. There wasn't much food though. You can see the lounge only had refreshments such as drinks, crisps, and juice. That said, the lounge is cozy with proper armchair seats. It also has charging devices and, unsurprisingly, newspaper and magazine are available as well. Without this lounge access, you can only wait outside with everyone else. Well, as the Premier passenger, the lounge staff will ensure that you won't miss the train by alerting you once the train is ready to board. And speaking of boarding, another advantage of Premier customers is that if your train is delayed or cancelled, you're guaranteed a seat for the next one. That gives extra reassurance for those who need to work, as it's not even easy for business class travelers to have a guaranteed seat on the next flight within the same day. And finally, it's time to board, as the Premier carriage is at the very front of the train, and with 16 carriages in total, it was quite a walk. On the outbound journey, I was traveling solo and booked a single seat, but the staff was kind enough to tell me the train wasn't busy and offered me a double seat for more space. The journey to Brussels took about 2 hours. With the train averaging speeds of 300 km per hour and going through some tunnels, I was surprised that I got a bit dizzy at first, as I was quite used to flying and didn't have similar experience. Fortunately, I got used to it after 30 minutes. Time for me to have more intense fitness training. Meals that resemble business class food on flight are included for Premier customers. However, it has much less options than a proper business class meal, as you can only choose between cold and hot main course. For the outbound trip, the hot dish available was chicken. I'd say it was just so-so, as the meat was a bit dry. But to be fair, the food on Singapore Airlines business class is not any much better, as I can recall that the chicken they served were equally dry. What's more, let me tell you that the lamb confit that they served on my return trip was completely redeemed itself, which I'll show you in a few seconds. And to state the obvious, Wi-Fi is included throughout both trips. And if you're in a standard class and want to eat, you can always walk to the restaurant carriage, which is located in the middle of the train. Now for the return trip. I have to say I'm not a big fan of the Brussels station, as it's a bit chaotic, seedy at times, and the ceilings are quite low. But the lounge was just as good, if not better than the one in London. Of course, it also only had basic refreshment like juice and coffee, but I found the atmosphere cozier than the London one. Oh, I almost forgot to mention one thing. Eurostar operates a juxtaposed border control system, so before you get on the train, you need to get through the French customs, as the train stopped in France first. There's no need for you to get through the Belgian customs, as once you're in an EU country, you can freely move around countries under the Schengen Agreement. Similarly, on my way back to London, I'll need to go through the UK customs in Brussels. For Premier passengers, you get another perk, a fast-track customs counter. This allows you to get off the train once it arrived at your final destination and head straight out of the station, which is a fantastic thing, especially if you're on a night train and just want to get home quickly. Well, back on the train. This time Eurostar has assigned me with a tabled seat facing another passenger, and as the train was quite full, I was forced to have an almost candlelight dinner style encounter with him throughout my whole journey. And it was actually quite amusing when two total strangers on the same table telling the staff if they want anything like wine or what main courses they like, etc. That said, just look at this juicy and well-marinated lamb confit. Whether it's the texture, the sauce, and the cooking, it wasn't just business class quality. I'd say it has flashes of fine dining taste. So, a rip-off or totally worth it? Well, I would say for the huge price difference, it's not convincing enough for me to choose Premier again the next time I travel with Eurostar. But if money isn't an issue for you, I would say it's still justified with the extra perks available. That said, I'm only splurging my money for my loyal luxury traveler viewers this time, so count me out next time.